Today's lesson is on addition and subtraction expressions. Okay, remember an expression is a number sentence without an equal sign. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at tables, like this table that you see here, and we are going to be doing two things. We're going to be finding the rule for the table, and then we're going to be finding the missing part. Okay, so a lot of times it kind of depends on your personal preference. Some people want to find the rule first, some people want to find the missing part first. It really doesn't matter which one you do first because you have to do both of them and they're pretty interchangeable. So the problem that we have is Contralin made a table to record the regular and sale prices of store items. So look up here. Regular price P. So P is being used as the variable. Okay, that's important to know. P is the variable. Okay, remember if I am working with expressions, I always have a variable. So something is happening to that P. Okay, and then here's the sale price. Well, if you stop and think about it for a minute, if I have the regular price of something and then I have the sale price, isn't the sale price usually less than the regular price? Because if I want to buy something on sale, I want to because it's less money, right? So that could be a clue for me in looking at what's happening here in the table. So what we want to do is we want to be working on this row here, okay, or column, I should say. So we're looking to see, I start with 21, and how do I get to 16? Okay, another way is if I do this, 21, something happens to that 21, and I get 16. Okay, well, if I'm looking at 21 and 16, I'm going down, right? Plus, with our talk of regular price and sale price is usually less than regular price. So I'm assuming I'm subtracting because if I'm going down from 21 to 16, I have to subtract. Subtract or possibly divide. Okay, well, 21 minus what would get me 16? Well, I know that if I use my fact families and I do it this way and I subtract, okay, I have to regroup here. 21 minus 16 is 5. Okay, so 21 minus 5 has to be 16. So I think the rule here has something to do with minus 5. But a rule is not correct unless it matches every single column or row. So right now, yes, I can do 21 minus 5 and that gets me 16. But now I have to prove it over here. Is 20 minus 5 15? Yes, it is, so I proved that. Is 19 minus 5 14? Yes, it is, so I proved it. Okay, so I'm saying that P, regular price right here, P is my variable, P minus 5 is my rule for this table. Because any number that I put in this first row, if I subtract it by 5, I get this second row. So that is my rule, P minus 5. Now, in order to see what the missing part is here, then I take the rule and I apply it. So I'm going to subtract 5. 18 minus 5 is 13. So my missing piece is 13. Here we have another table. For this table, the variable that's being used, that should actually be a Q for questions, okay? Total number of test questions Q. So something is happening to Q to get something else. Okay. Down here is total, or excuse me, number of multiple choice questions. So we're talking about a test that has a certain amount of test questions, and within those questions, this amount is multiple choice. Okay. So I have 20 and 10. That means something is happening to 20 for me to get 10. Well, I know that if I'm going from 20 to 10, I'm decreasing, okay? Which means if I'm decreasing, if I'm going down, my options are subtracting or dividing, okay? So I could do 20 minus 10 to get me 10. I could do 20 divided by 2. That would also get me 10. Okay, so I have two options, minus 10 or divide by 2. Well, this should be a big clue today. I'm only adding and subtracting today. Okay, however, this will happen to you later on. So tomorrow we'll be doing multiplication, division, and then the next day it'll be all together. So you need to know what to do if this happens. So I'm saying that the rule is either minus 10 or divide by 2. Well, now what I need to do is I need to check my next row, and I need to see which one of these rules makes sense with this information. So I'm going from 30 to 20. Well, let's try the 10. Is 30 minus 10 20? Yes, it is. I have to double check here. Is 30 divided by 2 20? No, it is not. So the divide by 2 cannot be my choice for my rule. So I'm saying that my rule is minus 10. Now, I know it worked here because that is a true statement. But now I have to check over here. Is 40 minus 10 30? Yes. Well, I don't know this yet. We're going to find that in just a minute. Okay, so if all three of these are the same, then minus 10 is my rule. So I'm using Q as my variable right here. Q minus 10 is my expression. Okay, I don't want to have this equal sign right here. So this is my rule. The rule is Q minus 10. Oh, I missed my 50. Okay, so if Q minus 10 is my rule, then to find the missing piece is to do the rule. So 50 minus 10 is 40. Now, I could use this pattern that I see. I see a 20, 30, 40, 50, a 10, 20, 30, 40. I could use a pattern. That would work. Okay. However, if I had a question that was asking me to use this table, okay, to fill it in like we just did, but then to have a question afterwards, let me move this out of the way. So we said our rule is Q minus 10. Okay, if I then have another question that says, okay, tell me what your answer would be if the total number of test questions is 100. Okay, I don't want to sit here and do 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 and do that pattern all the way up to 100 because that's too much work. But if I know my rule, can I take 10 away from 100? Yeah, pretty quickly, right? So my answer here would be 90. Okay. So again, also, what if I had a question that said, okay, now you have 200 test questions. How many are multiple choice? Well, again, I don't want to sit here and do this rule all the way up to 200 because that's way too much work. But if I have my rule here, I can take away 10 very quickly to find that answer. For this table, they're not really giving us a context this time. All I know is that my variable is R. I don't know if this is test questions or sale price or anything like that. I don't know what the story is behind this, but I can still answer these questions without having a story. So the question is, what is the rule for the table? Okay, so something is happening to R. Okay, something is happening to these numbers to get these numbers. Okay, then after we do that, we'll fill in the missing value. So I'm first going to look at 24 and 11. Okay, 24 something equals 11. All right, so again, I'm looking at 24 and I'm looking at 11, and I see that that's going down. So I have two choices. 24 minus something equals 11, or 24 divided by something equals 11. Okay. Well, so 24 minus something equals 11. If I do 24 minus 11, I can use my fact family. Okay, if 24 minus 11 is 13, then 24 minus 13 is 11. Okay, now down here, I can't do a whole number, like divide 24 by a whole number to get 11. Okay, there's really not anything that I could do here with division. Okay, plus remember it's an addition and subtraction lesson, so I'm not going to worry about this. Okay, I'm saying that my rule is minus 13. Okay, so that's my hypothesis here, is that the rule is R minus 13. So I know it works here. I know this is true. Now I have to double check with these. So let's look here. Is 28 minus 13 15? Yes. Now for this one, we have to do some regrouping. 11 minus 3 would be 8, and 2 minus 1 is 18, so that is correct. Now check this one. 6 minus 3 is 3, 2 minus 1 is 2, so that is correct. So our R minus 13 is our table, or excuse me, our rule for the table. Now we need to find the missing value. So if the value is 54, I need to do 54 minus 13. Well, do some regrouping. 14 minus 3 is 9, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So the missing value is 39. All right, this will be the last one in this video. So I have my table here, and I have the same two questions as before. So what is the rule? And fill in the missing values. So I know that my variable is n. I do not know my rule. Okay, something is happening to n to get these values. Okay, and I also see I have two missing spots. So once we find our rule, we'll go and fill those in. Okay, so I'm looking at the first column here. So something is happening to 3 to get 7. Well, I see if I'm starting to 3 and I go to 7, that's going up. So if it's increasing, my choices are to add or to multiply. Okay, well, 3 plus what is 7? Right, 4. 3 times what is 7? Well, there's no whole number that I can multiply times 3 to get 7. Okay, so I'm thinking that my rule is plus 4. So I think it's plus 4. Okay, but I have to double check. So I know, because I just figured this out, 3 plus 4 is 7. So now I have to double check with the other columns because remember it has to fit every row and column to be the rule. So is 4 plus 4 8? Yes. Is 5 plus 4 9? Yes. So we were correct. N plus 4 is the rule. So now I have to use that information to fill in the missing value. So for this, 37 plus 4 equals 7 plus 4 is 11. I regroup, so 41. So 41 is the missing piece. Now on this one, I don't have the first part, okay? But I do know that I have to add 4, and I know that I have to get 44. Okay, so look at that. What number plus 4 would give me 44? Well, if I do the opposite operation, okay, and instead of adding 4, if I take 4, that gives me 40, and that would be my answer here. So 40 plus 4 is 44. So this missing piece is 40. So that is what you're going to be doing today with Mrs. Higbee. Now, one thing I do want to point out, we're not going to do another problem, but I just want to point out that you could take these tables and you could, right now they're written horizontally, and a lot of times these tables are written vertically instead. So I just want to show that to you, that it just means exactly the same thing. Okay, so the top row would be your first column. So these values would be here. Okay, and then the bottom row would be your second column. N plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 41, and I think that was 44. Okay, so whether it's horizontal or vertical, it means the same thing. So you'll see both of those today.